Good day, Android Studio coders. It has been a couple of weeks since I put up or uploaded my last video, but here I am now again showing you my next video, which is still about Admob ads, but this time this has been the result of a request from someone through the comment section of the Android Studio channel at YouTube. Someone have watched my video on adding Admob ads without using the Android Studio template. So he is asking me to produce a separate video about Admob Interstitial, which is implemented on usually on game Android Studio apps, and really there is no need for us to use the template on Admob Interstitial for the default one at Android Studio, because it cannot be implemented properly on your app, unlike the Admob banner, which is really a very easy thing to implement because it just resides either above or below your app. But on Admob Interstitial, it's a little bit difficult. Even the template at Android Studio is just a form of a guide for you so that you can implement it on your own app. So today I'm gonna show you how to put Admob Interstitial, as this video is a step-by-step instruction on how to do it. So let's dive in. First, you have to create a string resource. This is the same with Admob banner. So you have a string resource for your Admob Interstitial ad. So it is important to use a different string resource name if you implement both Admob banner and another for Admob Interstitial. So you have a string resource here. You can name it interstitial underscore ad underscore unit underscore ID, or plainly Admob Interstitial ID. And in between the string brackets, you have here your Admob Interstitial ID should be put here, this one. And then after that, what you put here first is a should be the ID for the, you can use the same ID for the test ads that you use for Admob banner, but you should name it with a different name for this resource. So the next step is to add the following to your Android manifest.xml. So this is the same thing you add with Admob banner. So you include the required permissions for Google Mobile Ads to run. So you have the android.permission.internet and the android.permission.access network state. So I would provide a link in the description of this video to where you can download the PDF file for you to just copy and paste this thing. So I'll have a PDF file uploaded to slideshare.net for easy reference for those who are watching this video. And the next step is for you to add the following. So number 3 is add the following to your build.gradle, so module : app. So you have to add this to as one of your dependencies. The compile, so you have this com.google.android.gms : play-services-ads : 9.6.1. Actually, this 9.6.1 could vary because depending on the version that would work with your Android Studio installation. So you can look up this at the Android documentation. And number 4, this is one of the important thing. You have to import the following into your main activity.java or whatever that Java file where you implement this interstitial Admob ad. So we have 2 additional, actually this ads.add request and ads.add you is already imported if you have implemented Admob banner. What you have to add is ads.add add listener and adds that interstitial ad. So you have to import these 4 lines of code here. So number 5, don't forget this one. You have to declare or slash create an interstitial add variable before the onCreate method. So you put this private interstitial add. Actually, this name here in black, this variable name here could be a different name. It's up to you if you want to use this naming convention here or this private variable here. Oh, sorry. What you can modify is this one, the interstitial add. But you have to, this one is fixed, this private interstitial add, this blue and this one in black should be as is, as written here. What you can modify is the name of the variable, which is interstitial add. Actually, I suggest you just use this default because this is the default name used when you create it in your Android Studio template. But you, as I have said, you can modify this one. And the next step is number 6. You have to create the load interstitial method. So you can copy this one as is. So this public void load interstitial. Inside this is the add request variable, which is named here add request equals new add request dot builder. So inside this you call the private interstitial variable this interstitial add dot load add request. So you need that variable in order to load an add request. So the add request is here. This add request thing is used as a parameter here. So you just copy this one. This is fairly default. And the number 7, you have to create the show interstitial method. So just create this methods, or what in other programming languages these are called functions. Create these methods or functions. They're defaults. You just have to copy the code here. You have private void show interstitial. So you have this code here. You have this if. This is basic. And then the else. What's important here is what's inside the else. So here you have the put code here to execute if add did not show. Example, go to the next level of a game. For example, Admob did not provide any interstitial add at that point in time in your game. So, of course, your app cannot just hang in there. You have to go to the next level of your game or the next part of your app. So, you put that code here. The else is for when the show interstitial add did not show any ad. So you have to put your code here. Usually that's going to the next screen of your app or going to the next level of your app. So that's number 7. And we go now to number 8. You have to create the method that returns the interstitial and listens for closure of interstitial add. So let's go back. On number 6, you create the load interstitial method. So before, I did not really understand this very much. Today I'm gonna explain you, I'm gonna mention this, that the load interstitial add does not show the ad. It just loads the ad into the memory of your app. What shows the ad is the show interstitial method. So remember that thing, huh? That thing here, that's very important. So the next is so number 8, you create the method that returns the interstitial, and listens for closure of interstitial add. Of course, when the interstitial add is already there, you have to return that add, or in order for you to have that add, you have to return that add. So I'm gonna explain this better in the next part, in the next step. So here we have a return statement here for the private interstitial ad created here, or this is a variable here, you create this one. And of course, when the ad is loaded, some users would not like to view that ad. They usually close that ad. More users closes the ad, and only a few opens the ad. So you have to put a method or a code that tells the app or your game app what to do in case the users closes the ad. So you have to put that here. Put the code here to execute on ad closure. Example, usually the same thing, you go to the next level in a game or the next screen of your app. So this step is very important. And then next is number 9. You put the code inside the onCreate that would load the interstitial ad in memory, readying it if called by the show interstitial ad. So we have created a method on step number 6, which is create the load interstitial here. Of course, this method would not fire if you did not call it inside your onCreate. So what you do is you first since you have created in number 5, you have created the variable for interstitial ad. You call that variable inside the onCreate here. Interstitial ad equals new interstitial ad. Sorry if I have difficulty pronouncing that interstitial. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce. And you have to call your load since you already have that variable, you have instantiated that private variable of interstitial ad. Here you instantiate it here by saying new interstitial ad. This is the method or the function or whatever thing in Java that instantiates this variable. So since this load interstitial here in the second line of step number 9 is being is to be used by this method load interstitial, you have to first instantiate this variable, and after instantiating that, you can now call load interstitial. So your app won't crash because the parameter required is available in the memory of the app. So step number 10 is to call the show interstitial method in the part of your code where you would go to the next level. Example, in a game. So why is this so? Because in the show interstitial method here in number 7, it is where you put the code to execute if the ad didn't show, right? Or which is to go to the next level of the game. And that's important that's a very important thing to put in your mindset or in your app, because that's the thing that would load the game into the next level or your app into the next screen. So you put that part of the code where you go to the next level of the game. So this is because your go to the next level method code is already inside the show interstitial code step 7, as I have shown before, and the new interstitial add method in step number 8. So here, let's go to number 7. So it's here. If the ad did not show, you go to the next level of the game. And on number 8, if the ad is if the ad did show, but the user closes it, you have to go again to the next level of your game. So you have to put that code to here, this line. So you have to call the show interstitial method in that part of your code. So why show interstitial method only when you also have put the code on number 8? So let's analyze that. Realize that this code new interstitial is being called on step number 9. which is inside your onCreate, because you have new interstitial add. Actually, this is this method here. This is a method created on step number 8. We will know where this number 8 method is being called in our demo. So we put both the code here that go to the next level, both in show interstitial method and inside the method that returns the interstitial add and listens for closure of the add. So number 11, you have to reload the add on memory in your next level activity or part of your code after the functionality that follows closure of the interstitial add was executed. For example, in your app, the user or in the game of the user, while playing the game, the add did not show. So what you have to do is to reload the add again on the next screen or on the next level, because once the add was shown or attempted to be shown, it is possible that the add is not in memory anymore, or the add was loaded but the user closed the add, so the add is not in memory anymore. So to be sure that there is an add in memory again when the time that the show interstitial method is activated, you have to reload the add again in memory. So you put that in your next screen or next level activity or next level of the game that the user is playing. So let's do this. Let's do these steps in action in real life. So I have a game here. This actually is this just for demo of interstitial. I have not yet executed the interstitial inside this code. We are gonna do it live. So this game is about a simple 6-level game. It's a simple 6-level game wherein the user would determine if the equation is correct. So for example here, for every 2 correct, then an add would load. What I did here is just to show a toast saying add is showing. So we have to change that into an actual add showing. So here, if I click this, so that's a great correct answer. So 1 correct, and I have 1 point. And this is obviously here the equation is not correct, so I have to click X. So great correct answer, 2 points, and my correct count is 2 correct, and add is now showing. So what the app does is the correct count is refreshes to 0 again, because I have to show the add every 2 correct answer. So here, this is, if I click here X, that would be incorrect since the equation is correct. So wrong answer, no points added. Okay, this is incorrect, so I have to click X to earn a point. So great correct answer, 3 points. So correct count 1, it refreshed again to 1 from 0. So when the correct count is 2, the add should show. So this is a correct equation, so I have to, if I click check, my correct count would be 2 and my points would be 4. So great correct answer, 4 points. Correct count 2 correct, and add should show, as you can see here. So that's the basic functionality of this Admob Interstitial demo. So let's take a look at the code. So here is my code. Actually, I have a string resource here. This is very basic. I have question 1, 2. So question 1 is a correct equation. Question 2 is an incorrect equation. So 3 is correct and 4 is incorrect. 5 is correct and number 6 is incorrect. So I already have since I have a 2 button here, I already have a code for game logic for check button and game logic for X button. And So I have here show ads every 2 points, both for the check and X button. And I have a code for show ads every 2 points. And here, since I show ads every 2 points, it is where I put the show interstitial code is here, because this is where the ad is shown here. So this is where the ad goes to show another part, the next part of my code. Actually, there is no level. There is no next screen here. There is no level here. It's just that the ad, after showing the ad is shown in this part of the code. So I have a show interstitial here, which is being called. So I just put a toast message here that the ad show. Let's change that to the actual code that we have in our step-by-step process a while ago. So let's go back to there. So let's replace, first let's create a string resource. Let's go to step 1. Let's copy this. So I did this demo from scratch, from the steps that I am showing, in order to show you that this thing actually works. Actually, this is a live demo dated, what's the date today? Today is December, on my time zone it's December 14, 2016. So I'm gonna copy this and create a string resource for that. I don't let's create a demo app for this. I'm gonna close this one first and I create a new just to get the test code ID for Admob. So that's interstitial. Okay. Actually, we don't need this app. I just need the code that would be generated here. So it's rendering. This is the one that I need. This one. This is a test code from Admob. Test interstitial ad. Let's close this one. Let's go back and replace that here. Paste. Okay, so we're cool now. We have done with step 1. So let's go to step 2. We need to copy this to our manifest file. Copy and go to manifest. So this is live demonstration. Let's save that one, and we now go to step 3. So let's put this dependency here. Copy and gradle scripts. We use the module :app, the app level part of it. Just put it here, paste that there, and you sync you create a Gradle project sync, so it's cool. No errors for that. Okay, so we are done with step number 3. We go now to step number 4. Okay, let's go to our game activity.java. So I'm gonna import that one. Just replace this one. Paste. Okay, it's not yet used, so it's grayed out. So let's save. We're done with step number 4. Let's go to step number 5. Control A, copy. So we put that before onCreate. It's a good practice to put some explanation with your code. Okay, can put anything that suits you. And we're done with step number 5. We now go to step number 6. You just copy this one. So easy. If you can download my SlideShare or go to my SlideShare PDF file, actually you can do this very easily. And I just request you to subscribe to this channel and add my video to your playlist so other people can see my video. So that's step number 6, and we create this one. You can put it anywhere. You can put it after onCreate. So we have this load interstitial method, and after that we create the show interstitial. Just copy that. So we are now at step number 7. So we put the show interstitial code, the code of the show interstitial method inside our own show interstitial. So let's just copy this one here, and I already have that method here, so I'm gonna paste it inside. So here you put the code that go to your next level of your game here, or next screen or activity. But in the case of our demo app, it's not really necessary because you did not go to another part of the screen, you did not go to another activity, but you just continue with the next questions of the game on the same screen. So on the same level, actually it's just different questions. But if you really intend to go to another activity, it is here that you do it here. So after I just show you that the ad is loading, we're gonna create an intent inside this part of show interstitial intent here that would go to another activity inside your app. So I'm gonna demo that after I show you that this code really works. So let's go to the next step. So the next step is number 8. We create the method that returns the ad. Actually, a while ago, I told you that I do not know where this code is being called, but now I realize that this code, new interstitial, is being called on step number 9, which is inside your onCreate, because you have new interstitial ad. Actually, this is this method here. This is a method created on step number 8. So I got it now. Sorry for that. So let's copy this. Copy. And you create that here. Actually, you can place it anywhere. Code here, which is intent for going to another activity. I'm gonna demo that after I show that the ad just actually shows using this step-by-step instruction. So let's save that. And the next step is to put the following lines inside your onCreate. So we go back to the onCreate. You can put that on the last part. Okay, we have that now. So we're done with step number 9, we now go to step number 10. But actually, we do not do that anymore here. Step number 10, because we have no next level method. And we actually we gonna do that too in the new interstitial add method on the part that the ad is closed. But of course, we're not gonna do that because we're not going to another activity or next level of our game. But in your case, you have to do that if that's the case of your app. But I'm gonna show you that after I show you that the ad is loading. We're gonna try to tweak this app to do just that. And of course, on number 11, we're gonna reload the ad on memory in your next level activity. So how are you gonna reload that ad? So you just have to call the load interstitial method again. Here, we have to load this new interstitial method, or you may include this first line here, the instantiation of the interstitial private variable here. So in order to be safe, just do or call this entire thing here. So we're gonna copy this. Actually, this is step number 11. And where part of the code are we gonna do that? I think after showing the ad here, show ads every 2 points, this calls the show interstitial here. So I can do that by putting it inside the show ads every 2 points, or just call that on this one, or just put it inside here. I may put that inside here so that I don't duplicate my code. I can do that here. Okay, so that ensures that the ad is loaded again in memory. So let's try to test the code if it works. I hope the ad loads so that I'm successful with this video. So let's wait. It's gonna take a little longer because we're gonna refresh a lot of changes to my already loaded emulator. Okay, showing now. So 1 point. Oh yes, the ad is showing. Great, correct answer, 2 points. Okay, let's try to close this one. So again, we now have check 3 points, 1 correct, and this is incorrect. So I have to click X in order to load the ad. Click X, ad is loaded. So great, we have done that, but I'm not yet done with this. What do we want is to go to another activity. So I'll create another activity. So just create an empty activity. So let's just name this next level activity. Finish. So go to the layout. Let's put a text here. Let's just put here next level. Let's make it a little bigger. So I put text size. That's 30 dp. What happened here? Here, so we have a .java for next level activity and a layout for next level activity. So let's modify our game activity.java so that we go to that activity when we close the ad or if the ad failed to load. So we have public void go to next activity, and let's create an intent go to next activity equals new intent this next level activity dot class, and let's start the activity. Okay, so what we do is just call that inside the else of the show interstitial method. Go to next activity and also call that on add closed. Okay, so let's fire the app. Let's check. So our demo app has now fired, so let's test it. So we have 1 plus 9 equals 10. Let's check. 1 point. 11 minus 9 equals 3. That's incorrect. 2 points. Our ad fired. So if we close this ad, we should now be going to the next level activity layout. Okay, we are now at our next level screen. So that's how you implement that in your app. So thank you for watching, people. I'm gonna upload this slide to SlideShare, and you can get the link on the description of this video. So I hope you like this demo video for the Admob Interstitial, and many of you would now be able to implement that in your own game or in your own app. Thank you and bye-bye.